Blue Table fans, I'm gonna do a bat rep. We were gonna do something with Necrons and Dark Eldar that we got in as a trade. Unfortunately, we had to postpone that one because they are getting touched up. They're not ready yet. So instead, we decided to do what some of our fans asked us to do, which was the Blood Angels versus Grey Knights. And so I have Dave here. We're going to do Blood Angels versus Grey Knights. We still have some Studio Grey Knights. We got a couple of extra Studio Grey Knights in, so we got these guys that kind of have this beat up, rusted, well fought look to them, as well as the Azure Knights. So the two groups together are going to fight Dave's Blood Angel army. So, because we haven't done it in a while, we're going to go ahead and just roll off to see which scenario we do. So Dave, do you want to roll? And we'll get this show on the road. Here's the table we're playing on. We're just counting the footprints, obviously, as area terrain, and then the other objects if you're behind or covered or whatever. It's going to be a seize ground, and on deployment type, Dawn of War. Okay, and here's the number of objectives. It's going to be 5. You want to roll off to see who sets objectives first, or who gets the odd objective, I should say. Dave got a 2, and I got a 4. So I'm going to set up 3 of them, and Dave's going to set up 2 of them. All right, so we're going to set those up, and then we'll come back for rolling on the turn. All right, so we got our 5 objectives down. Dave placed the yellow ones. I placed the red ones. Now these are, of course, the objectives that you place 12 inches from each other and 12 inches from the table edge. We haven't determined who's going first yet. We'll do that right now. I got a 2. Dave has a 4. So Dave, first or second, sir?
I'll go first.
All right, Dave's going first, so he's going to deploy up to 1 HQ and 2 troops on the table. And then the rest of his stuff he'll decide how they arrive. Either coming in, everything comes in on the first turn from his table edge, or he can keep stuff in regular reserve. And then once he's done that, I will do the same. Okay, so a couple things that the Blood Angels do at the beginning of the game. Dave decided to deploy an assault squad and a rhino with the Sanguinar here near the middle of the table. Obviously, Dawn of War, you get up to 24-inch deployment zone. And then he also rolled for Red Thirst on the assault squad, which you do when they deploy. He rolled a 1. So they do have Red Thirst, which gives them Fearless and Furious Charge. And the Sanguinar, when he's deployed.
When the Sanguinar is deployed, he chooses an enemy HQ as his target of I'm going to make you die. And Thomas has a Grand Master with all of the lame Grey Knight toys and a Librarian with
all the lame Grey Knight toys.
Yeah, so I chose the Grandmaster as my target that I get to beat down. So when fighting him with the Sanguinar, I'll get to reroll my to hits and to wounds. And then also at the beginning, when he's deployed, one of my sergeants, determined randomly, is upgraded to basically character status. So he gets +1 weapon skill, attack, wound, and I think something else. Initiative.
Okay. So speaking on that subject, go ahead and tell us what you have in your army. So and then determine.
Okay, so I have. You can't tell because they're all in here in a drawer together, but I have 2 assault squads with 2 melta-guns each, and Power Fist armed sergeant.
Okay.
And then 9 guys with rhinos. Those are identical. There's 10 here and 10 over there.
On the table already.
On the table. And then I have 1 full 10-man Terminator unit, which I am going to combat squad.
Okay.
This is their Land Raider, so half of them will ride in the Land Raider with the Librarian.
Okay.
And the other half rides in the Storm Raven, which is not on the table at the moment, with the Sanguinary Priest.
Okay.
And the reason I brought a full squad and combat squad instead of 2 squads is because I only have 3 elites choices, and I needed 1 elites choice for the Naders, 1 elites choice for my Furioso Dreadnought,
Which is also with the Storm Raven.
which is also with the Storm Raven, and 1 elites choice for the Sanguinary Priest.
Okay.
And then I have an Honor Guard with a Blood Champ and a guy with a power weapon, And this guy who has a storm shield and a lightning claw and a chapter banner all together.
And it's magnetized on the base.
Actually, it's pinned, but yeah, same thing. And they ride in this Razorback. And then I have, to round out my points, I have a Vindicator with Siege Shield.
Siege Shield.
Oh,
Okay.
and I had 5 points left to spend, so I gave this guy Melter Bombs.
All right, so he's got Melter Bombs.
So this is a 2,500 point list for those of you trying to do the math in your head and wondering how I fit all that in 2,000 points. This is 2,500.
Okay.
So with all that being said, I only have 3 sergeants because the honor guard don't come with a sergeant, and yeah. So the sergeants are. This is my Terminator sergeant, the guy with the lightning claws.
Okay.
And then we know who the assault sergeants are. They have power fists. So 1, 2, it's the guys on the table. His sergeant.
Okay.
3, 4, it's this sergeant, and 5, 6, it'll be the Terminator.
Okay. It is the guy in reserve.
Over here in reserve.
It's a 3 if you guys can't see from there. Okay, cool. Let me tell you guys what I have real quick. I went with I had somewhat limited choices, of course, limited by what was available, but I was still able to come up with quite some fun things with it. So I brought a Grandmaster. I'm going to use as my Grandmaster model. And then the only thing that I'm not completely WYSIWYG on, I'm going to cheat a little bit, is I brought a Librarian, and he's going to have a warding stave rather than just a sword. So here's my Librarian. Then I brought 2 Storm Ravens. One of them with, the only difference between the two is one's got the Hurricane bolters, and I might switch up for an Assault Cannon on this other one rather than a Las Cannon. But they both have the multi-meltas, they both come with the missiles. Then I have 2 squads of 5 Terminators, and one of them has a hammer and one of them has a hammer and a side cannon, and 3 guys with the halberds, and one guy has, the other group has 5 halberds. Both of them have Cybolt ammunition. Then I have 2 Purifier squads that are each 6-man. Both of them have 2 side cannon guys in it, and a bunch of halberd guys, and then this one has a hammer guy rather than a halberd guy. So one of the Knights of the Flame has a hammer, and then one of them, there's one guy that has just a regular halberd. But both those guys have digital weapons. Funny enough, I had an extra 10 points for that. And then 2 Razorbacks for them with Cybolt ammunition on their heavy bolters. Then 2 Dread Knights. I gave them heavy side cannons and great swords as they are modeled. And then I also went ahead and gave them the personal teleporters, so they're jump troops and they get the 30-inch shunt once a game. And then to round it out, I've got 3 Paladins with Cybolt ammunition, and they just have swords. So we'll see how this goes. I decided not to bring any kind of inquisitorial forces. I didn't bring any assassins or anything. I'm not feeling terrible about that. It would be nice to have that for the Land Raider, to take that guy, take it down with the Calidus? No, Vindicare assassin, but I didn't bring it. Anyway, so Dave is deployed. I'm not going to deploy anything, and I'm not going to try and seize the initiative, so it's going to be Dave's turn 1. So he'll move. I assume that all of your stuff's coming on just regular?
Yeah, I'm not going to keep anything in reserve. It'll all show up on turn 1. Is your stuff showing up on turn 1? Or
yeah, it's all gonna show up on turn 1.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so we'll go from there. Before we go any further, I totally spaced out the grand strategy, which is at the start of the game I roll a D3 and I can designate some cool stuff for D3 units. So, oh, and then I should tell you my Librarian powers, and Dave can do the same. What did your Librarian bring, Dave?
Unleash Rage, and I went with Shield of Sanguinius this time.
Okay, so what do those do, just for those that don't know?
Unleash Rage, I cast in an assault phase, either mine or my opponent's, or both. And it gives the Librarian and his unit a preferred enemy.
Okay.
Shield of Sanguinius is cast in the opponent's shooting phase, and it creates a 5-up cover save for every unit, including vehicles within 6 inches of the Librarian.
Okay, cool. I brought just about every power. So I have Hammer Hand on most everybody. The Dread Knights have Dark Excommunication, which doesn't matter because you don't have any demons. So, but I have on the Librarian, I have Quicksilver, which is at the beginning of my movement phase, the librarian's movement phase. If the psychic test is successful, I choose a friendly unit within 6 inches, which can be the librarian and the unit he's joined, and they are initiative 10 for the rest of the turn. I have Sanctuary. I cast this power can be used at the start of the enemy's assault phase. If the psychic test is successful, any enemy models attempting to assault friendly units, the Grey Knights Codex, from the Grey Knights Codex within 12 inches of the librarian, they treat all terrain as difficult, all terrain, including open terrain, as difficult and dangerous. The Shrouding, which gives you a +1 to your cover save within 6 inches of the librarian, or stealth rule, I should say, 6 inches or a 6 up if you don't have one. I brought the Vortex of Doom, which is a strength 10 AP1 heavy pie plate blast, only a 12-inch range from the librarian, and the Warp Rift, which is a template, and the target has to take an initiative test. They fail, they're removed as a casualty. And doesn't it do vehicles? Target, let's see, for vehicles have to take a single penetrating hit. So the Warp Rift is pretty nasty. Yeah, Might of Titans. I took Might of Titans on him as well, which is a cumulative. It's cumulative with Hammerhand and gives +1 strength and an extra D6 penetration for anybody who uses it. So here, let me roll the grand strategy real quick. So I rolled a 4. That's 2 units. So I'm going to make both of my Purifier squads count as scoring, so they can score. They can hold objectives. So Dave's beginning to do his turn 1 movement. He's moving stuff on from the table edge, and we'll go from there. He's going to roll for the Red Thirst for all of his units that just deployed.
Okay, so these guys. That was a 1
Oh,
for
it's
a minute.
almost.
Honor Guard.
Nope.
Vindicator you don't roll for. Terminators. And a Dreadnought.
Ha! Dreadnought is. He was already fearless, but now he's Furious Charge. Cool. And you were telling us smoke here. What did you do during your movement phase? You're pretty much done, right?
Yeah. This guy is going to move over like so. And he will pop smoke.
Okay.
This guy went fast. Storm Ravens don't have smoke anyway. By the way, those of you who don't know, Storm Ravens don't have smoke. Neither do land speeders. I've played against people who assume every Imperial vehicle comes with smoke.
Wouldn't that be nice?
About 2 turns later in a tournament once, I was like, wait a minute, you popped smoke on your Storm Raven. You don't get smoke. Alright, so smoke here. Not going to here because he's obviously covering that up. Not going to here. The Sanguinar is covering most of that up, so don't need to there. He went fast. And the Land Raider, it's conceivable you could get a good shot on him, so he'll pop smoke as well.
All right, so Land Raider's popping smoke as well. Okay.
That's it.
Cool, so it's gonna be my turn 1. Moved. I have the 2 Razorbacks. They pop smoke. These guys have flown fast. These guys moved up. And now I'm going to, assuming that I can, I'm gonna cast, oh no, I'm gonna wait. Okay, no, I'm not gonna cast that. This has got the Librarian in it, and 5 Terminators with halberds. And then the Grand Master and 5 Terminators are on the other one here. And then of course, the 2, we better put the Hammer guy on. Hammer guy's in this squad right here, like that. And these guys right there. So I'm gonna go shooting phase. So we'll do a run with that Dread Knight, 3 inches, run with that Dread Knight, 4 inches. So I'll do that in a second. And then shooting, we're gonna do, Dave, would you mind measuring to see if I have 24 inches with my assault cannon there onto your Storm Raven?
You do it.
All right, so here comes the assault cannon with Power Machine Spirit. And I'm twin linked, cocked, Everything hits. Now I'm looking for 6s to pin him. So let's see that 6s again. I got 1, so that's one pin, because it's a rending weapon. So 6 plus 6 is 12. Did he cover? He does cover it. Yeah. So he's okay.
Made me so nervous for a minute there.
We're gonna go las cannon from the other one into it as well. Twin linked, it'll hit, and we're looking for a 3. Oh, a 2 will bounce off. That's too bad. Dave was pretty scared on that one.
It makes me nervous. I love my Storm Raider, and I don't like it when it gets shot down right away.
It would have been fun to blow it up. It would have been.
That's why I bought a second one that's in assembly right now, so you can shoot one down, and I still have one to play with.
Right. Okay. Well, your turn. I'm gonna move my Dread Knights, and then it'll be your turn.
Okay.